going to start.
Okay. But anyhow, I'm looking forward to it. Uh, laying out plans and all of that, so it should be fun.
Would welcome everybody to our final class. Isn't this the final? Yeah, this is the final class before the December 21st winter solstice ceremony. I'm going to burn a little sage because dear actually had to drive 45 minutes across town from the Nike campus to the Cedar Mountain campus.
You know, they renamed it to
Now, what do they call it now?
Philip H. Knight campus.
Oh my God. Okay.
What? What do they call it?
Philip H. Knight campus.
Oh,
So it's the PHK. PHK now.
Bob, have you smudged yourself?
I haven't. I spudged myself right before going to bed.
Well, bless your heart. Well, I'm so grateful to have Ashley here, sticking with us. She just showed me her altar that she built out of one of Mandy's altar cloths.
Ah, neat. It's
so
nice to have your own altar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It grows with what's dear and near to you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they say the teachings of the North is about endings. It's a lot about, say, when we hit about 50, I was reading, I've got so many books, but I'm getting back to reading. This is the second half of life. And it's got the 8 gates of wisdom. There's certain, when you hit about 50 years ago, you shift from what used to have meaning to you, like having a real good job, raising a family, maybe moving to a new location. And it's all about ambition and the searches for the outer things. Like, what do you have? What possessions do you have? And but when you hit 50, the Africans have a beautiful saying that there's 2 types of hunger. One's the physical hunger, where I've gone 7 days with no food on a juice fast. So and then the other kind of hunger is the hunger for meaning. And that's the second half of life. We make that shift from what used to be the outer into the inner journey. And the inward journey is entering the 8 gates of wisdom. And she has it, I've read a lot of books, and ever since I got traumatized, I haven't read. I said, I've read so many books, I don't need to read anymore, but now I'm getting back to, yes, I do need to read more. So I'm getting into reading more books. And just what I already know. Because sometimes I've had a real rough time the month of November, all the way up to December. I had about 8 days of no sleep. I couldn't go to sleep. And I lost two relatives in that time. My youngest brother, Matt, they buried him on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And they actually had the service on TV, so I got to watch it all. Yeah. It was a beautiful thing to see my little brother lost his fight with cancer. And so I made prayers for him. And I just lost my cousins. I moved out here to work with my uncle who had 2 boys. And his youngest son died about 3 weeks before Matt died. So I had a double whammy of losing close relatives. And so the December prayer is about the menorah, which is one of the teachings of the Jewish Kabbalah. I think I actually have on the Red Road class there an outline of that. How do we get to that? That deal. Red Road class. Now she took me right to it. Now let's see if okay, the one I want is go on down. I thought for sure it was here somewhere. Let me see.
You go on?
Ah.
Here.
Not there. Oh, maybe it's, no, it's not there. Oh, it's right up here, I think. This one. Yeah. Well, I'll think of, yes. So I love this. This is a very beautiful rendition of the medicine wheel. That's eight sides to that. And it talks about the Jewish Kabbalistic power in the north. Kabbalah is, I dated a Jewish gal from New York. She taught me all about the menorah and the ceremony they do 11 days before Christmas. I think it started yesterday. So they have African power. If we go around the wheel, we have the Tibetan Egyptian power. We have the Hindu Sufi. That's Kabir and Rumi. And then we have the Anglo-Saxon prayer, which is the blue-eyed natives in Mandan, North Dakota, which were actually Gaelic people. And then you have the Turtle Island power, which is the Native American path. And you had the dragon power. Now, I'm a dragon, so I know all about that, the Buddhist way. And then you had the Cross of Christ power. So I love this rendition of, I just remembered it. I have it down in my store. And because I was drawing different medicine wheels, because I used to have on my site, the flutes were in the north, the drums were in the south, the rattles were in the west, and the bells were in the east. So that's, there's so many different ways to look at this medicine wheel, but I love this one because this just was resonate with me this morning when I was rereading a book that I'd read, and I noticed I outlined certain, opening the 8 gates of wisdom, which is the many ways that we walk around the wheel, the air, the fire, the earth, the water. And let me go back to how do we minimize this? Minimize that. Go back to this one. right here. There she goes. So the three signs of each element. This is the 12. The significance of the letter 12, the number 12. There's 12 months in a year. There's 12 steps of recovery. So 12 is Jesus supposedly had 12 disciples. So there's a very special, and the rotation between, I'm a Scorpio, so I go up to my Scorpio down here, and my opposite is Taurus, which is, I'm water, and Taurus is earth. My sister here is Aries. Where's Aries? There you are, and your opposite is Libra. But her partner is also an air sign. He's in Aquarius, right? Mm-hmm. Aquarius down here. Yep. So Bob is a Gemini, which is up here. So it goes fire, earth, air, water. Fire, earth, air, water. Fire, earth, air, water. And that's so simple, yet it's part of when I make a drum, I start in the south, and then I go straight to the north, and then the east, and then the west. I can get out of this now. Just wanted to, let's go to, excuse me. This one out here. Okay. Now this one is from another Angelus Arian book that I use as a guide. She's been one of my great teachers. That's this book right here. So this is a symbol from the fourfold way. It would be a feminine perspective of the medicine wheel. And she has in the north the element of air, and it's the warrior. Now, I have it as the king in the male, the king, the warrior. And in the east, she has the way of the visionary. And that's the same as the male. So the king, so in the cycle of a day, this is the dream time in the north. This is when we wake up, we become childlike, like Frankie. He's closest to spirit. So we become children, and then we go down and we become adults, and then we become adults down here. And then we keep going around the wheel and become elders. And then go back into the dream. And that's the cycle of a breath. That's the cycle of a day. So that's the beauty of the 12-step program, as they say. There is no tomorrow. Your point of power is always in the present moment. And if you just can do the best you can today, tomorrow will take care of itself. But Angelus Arian wrote several of the books that I use. The Second Half of Life, The Fourfold Way, and the third one is the Living in Gratitude book, which is we can get out of that now. Let's go back to live. There we are.
We are here.
Living in Gratitude. And the December prayer, I think it's called the Mystic Heart. And just reading this stuff over and over again, because I've taught this class for 25 years, but I didn't teach it in this form, and I taught I used to teach play, the balance of work and play, and love and support. That's the 4 elements. So, one of my favorite movies, I just rewatched it, is The River Why. It's about fishing in Oregon, and trout fishing, fly fishing. And I was a fly fisherman. So I wouldn't go to catch because I would release them. I just loved the fight, catching a trout on a 10-pound trout on a 3-pound leader. You have to give that trout a lot of room to run. And just keep enough pressure on him to very gently you bring him in. And then you let him go. Because I didn't go to catch, I went to fish. But I had a cousin that went to catch. So he wanted to say, how many did you catch? I said, I didn't go to catch, I went to fish. We had he's a Gemini too. So he's my buddy, Butch. He was best man in my wedding with Mandy. And I was best man in his wedding. So he's the other brother, the surviving brother that his little brother died, and then my stepbrother, my half-brother died. And that leaves Butch, Mike, me, Matt, not Matt, but Mark, who's the oldest of, the only one remaining of my stepmom's 4 children. She had 2 girls that died, now her youngest died. So they went back home, they were reunited with. So they say on the light of the winter solstice, all the souls that have departed in this cycle go back on the light, the turning of the wheel, which is the winter solstice, which is on the 21st of December. So all the Christian holidays were positioned around the Native American holidays and the pagan holidays, the earth-based spirituality. And there was burning of witches and all sorts of things that, where if you weren't a staunch Catholic, then they'd burn you at the stake. So the churches, as we all know, is not the problem. Because there's good people in the church. I did a campaign up there in North Dakota for the Lutherans, and I found there's beautiful people everywhere. New York City's got beautiful people in it. But I didn't find them because I was a wounded little boy. So I've been through quite a few of these long, hard nights and heartbreaks. Been married 5 times. And my sweet wife is coming home on the 18th of January. And she'll be here until February the something. She passed our hand fasting, because we hand fasted on Valentine's Day. So a hand fast is, I promise to love you for a year and a day. And if it works for both of us, we'll renew our vows on the next Valentine's Day. It's called tying the knot, the Celtic knot. So it's not like the old ball and chain. Or I love my wife, but I hate her. I wish I could get away from her sometimes. So we're in these relationships where we're not renewing renewing how we see with new eyes. So a lot of the teachings that I've learned from teaching, because I also listen to a lot of, like, I almost don't listen to commercial television. It's really hard for me to listen to even the weather forecast. They don't know what the weather's going to do, but they keep, like they said it was going to rain today. I says, yeah, right. they, I brought one of the greatest drummers on this planet to Portland, and I called KATU TV because I had a friend that worked in advertising there. I says, can you get I've got this man from Austria that teaches rhythm through movement. And I saw him in Willamette University down in Salem. And I said, I got to get this man in Portland. He is incredible. He's developed this process called using your body as a drum. And as you're moving in a circle, to certain rhythms, there's a surdo in the middle of the drum that his wife was playing. So she plays a simple 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 2 steps to the left, 2 steps to the right. So your feet are doing one thing, and then they have your hands doing something else, and then they'll have you speak. And the next, so let's say, we're fine until we fall out of rhythm. So that's your point of power. What happens when you fall out of rhythm? Do you separate from the circle? He says, no, you lay down in the circle and let the rhythm carry you back to what you can do, rather than separating and say. So I noticed I had a great day in the store, my God. I had people buying drums right and left. And but that doesn't have much meaning for me anymore, I say. I have enough, but the physical things, like money, that's not my motivation anymore. I'd say I like things that endure, like losing my brother was hard. That's a hard lesson of things that end. And I think I was up there with his soul, because when we die, we go through the bardos, so I was working with both my cousin and my brother, and I went through a really big passage myself. And I'm just coming back because the last week or so I've been sleeping like a baby because I let go of trying. And so all these gates of wisdom we talk about going through, like the Silver Gate, what is that great book, The Second Half of Life, which was another Angelus Arian book, talks about we come through the Silver Gate and we go back out through the Gold Gate. And at the cycle of a day, the cycle of a breath, say. So the way I add the 12 steps is we're all addicts to something. We're addicted to work. We're addicted to... The addict doesn't come in substances. It comes in people, addictions. So I get a big kick out of this one woman. I couldn't hear her, and I says, come a little closer and speak up. I said, did somebody tell you to shut the fuck up when you were a child? And she started thinking about that. She says, yes. So we had her almost singing a song the time she left there. And we had a great time. And it's just such a healing thing for me to have that store. Well, here I am, 85 years old, but I don't feel like I'm 85 years old. But I think I'm learning a lot of the elder lessons. When I relax, spirit comes in. When I try, I lie. So trying to get sober never got me sober. I had to do what Bob's favorite book, Radical Acceptance, one of his great books is. Acceptance is the key to all of our problems. So if we're having any kind of disarray or dis-ease, there's something that we're pushing away. We're not accepting something. So the serenity prayer is what I use in recovery. It's God grant me the serenity to accept the things I can't change. So I can't change how long I'm going to live or how long Bob's going to live, but I've got today, and if I just do the best I can today, like some woman called me yesterday and says, I bought this rattle, and it was a double-headed rattle on a stick that Mandy made, and she says, I want to send my friend one for Christmas, just like it. And so I said, oh, God. So I started freaking out, like, well, I taught Mandy how to make rattles. I know how to make rattles. So I went out and put a horse, it was half horse and half elk, this rattle she had. And she has a dear friend that just loved that rattle, and she wants to surprise him with it. And I called her back and asked her a few questions about it. And I said, does it have to be for Christmas? No, it doesn't have to be for Christmas. I just want to send it to him. So I said, okay. So I went out there and put some horse and elk in the water, started soaking the hides, found a stick, and I asked for a little more information, and I'll make that drum this week for that rattle. And I really enjoy the creative part, working with my hands and working with customers, because that's now I have it by appointment only, so I do more business than when I was open 6 days a week. So it seems like the more you honor yourself, the more people are attracted to you. That when you're needy and need a friend, you can't find them anywhere. So when I'm a friend of myself, then maybe I can share some of my wisdom with other people, and that not only helps me, it helps them. And I've never had to advertise, because all my business comes from referrals. People say, I bought a kit from you 15 years ago. And I had this other woman come in today and tell me the story about how, and she was from Michigan. So I sell drums all over the world. I just sent one to the Isle of Man over in England. And I'm still having fun doing it. But it was really hard on this particular time of year, which is Ashley just let me know she gets off, she gets a vacation. She got a bunch of gifts to give away, and made an altar she shared with me. I said, are you going to be in the 26 classes? She said, I'm here. I said, it's great to have people that suit up and show up. And I have to be the first one. So I started doing these play shops at my church. And I went to church because the clubhouse where I was going to AA meetings burnt. They had a fire. And they didn't have any more meetings there. So all the meetings went to this Jewish synagogue that was right behind the big clubhouse where I was the president of. And I say, I think I'm addicted to AA meetings. So maybe I need to heal some of the wounds I have about the church and go join the church. So I joined this New Thought church because I thought the church is the one that caused me all the problems. I was blaming the church. But I've had lots of stories I like to tell, not in a class, but just talking to customers. Bob does the same thing. He goes to the coffee shop and meets these incredible people because he talks to them. It's like my buddy Francis Firebrace. He's still alive. He's in his 90s. He's an inspiration to me. He's an Aboriginal from Australia. He came over and he was a friend of Lynn Gosney's, my dear friend in England. That I did a workshop over in the Isle of Sheppey, which is West England. It's right across from Norway and Denmark. And I've been to England about 4 times. I've been to Scotland, and I was in Edinburgh and Forres, where the Finhorn community was. So I wanted to see where my Pratt family came from. My Pratts were by my mother's side. My mother was a Pratt from, and the man she married, she was a Carrico, but she married a Pratt, and he was a Mason. Because all the Mason-Dixon line, all that came from the Masons, which is when I was talking to my youngest son Matt's wife, because they asked me if I had any pictures of Matt that they could share at the service that they did for him. And the service was in this Presbyterian church that I used to go to. And I knew him well. The preachers had changed, but the message hadn't. And they had his casket up there. And his daughter, he had 3 sons and a daughter. And Jasmine would go back and meet Xander, Zeb, and Zane, who were his 3 boys, named all Z. Xander, Zeb, and Zane. Those were the 3 boys. And then they had this little girl named Niza. But she's changed her name to Nyx, N-Y-X, or something like that. And she sang at her dad's funeral. And she got up there and sang this beautiful rendition of I Did It My Way. And it just touched my heart. I started crying. I said, wow, if you can still be touched, that means you're still alive. There's hope. So lessons of things that end. We've had a lot of our friends go away. Well, I've never had a lot of grief of people that died, because I think, hell, they went home. I'm left down here, so I guess I got to do the best I can do. Be grateful I'm still here. That's serenity prayer. accept the things I can't change, the courage to change the things I can change, which is usually my attitude. So if I get into the poor me, self-pity, or resentments, or anger at Donald Trump or whoever I want to be angry at, Alcoholics Anonymous told me anger is not the luxury of recovering people, because it leads to resentments, and resentments lead to cancer. So the question is, what are you eating and what's eating you? So if something's eating you, and metaphorically that turns into a cancer if you won't let go, won't forgive. And the hardest thing is forgiving yourself. It's seeing the beast and the beauty, and the dark side of an altar. That's why we have the West. And Angela Sarian has the teacher in the West. And the teacher, the medicine is silence. So sometimes I'm not comfortable being with me. I'm not comfortable in aloneness. But I have to be addicted to intensity is one of the 4 addictions. Can I just relish quietness and maybe turn a little music on and sing some Christmas carols? That's what I was doing. I was singing Joy to the World out there in the hot tub this morning. The squirrels loved it. And I've been seeing the little hummingbirds out there in the hot tub every morning. So I'll say, I kept filling those hummingbird feeders, but I'd never see a hummingbird. And the last, since I made that turn, the joys come back. Because in the Chicana, which is the Incan medicine wheel, that's another 12 of the. It's the cosmology of we are spiritual beings in a human experience. That's the native way of seeing. We're not sinners. We weren't born into sin, and we don't need any intercessors to help us get to Jesus. That's not what he taught. He says, love yourself. To thine own self be true. And if you're true to yourself, you'll be true to the one you love. If you betray yourself, you're going to betray somebody else. So it's taking care of the inner work. So when we turn elders, we start doing the inner work, not so much the outer work. Well, like I'm sure Ashley's more in the outer, you know. What can I create? We're going to have another baby, create a new life. And what that's going to take? What's the preparation for that? Man will never know the pain a woman has of giving birth. That's why they sundance, you know, in the Lakota way. The sundance is meant to take on the suffering of the people. And the women don't need the sundance because they undergo the birth of the children. So that's our Gaia mother, Pachamama. I was listening to Mr. Trump talk about the black mamas and the 26,000 people a year get killed by snake bites in Peru. And then the fact checkers came on the next night and said, well, actually, there's only been 10 deaths in the last 10 years by snake bites in Peru. So, just sometimes seeing the humor in things and being able to laugh at yourself, but not get attached to not liking anybody. You know, because I was in counseling school, and one of the therapies I learned was Albert Ellis. And his big thing was, just because an asshole acts like an asshole, why do you upset yourself? That's the way assholes act. So it's like Aikido. If somebody attacks you, they're already defeated. All you have to do is help them take their fall. So rather than run up against the foe, you retain your serenity and realize that every time you pursue, you've created the block. So in pursuing, you create the barrier. I learned that with women, and when I quit chasing them, one came. I had to learn myself. I had to take that time to do my work, inner work. Because every woman I chased turned out no good. I mean, I got put on my butt a few times, had 5 marriages, and now I love Mandy when she's in London, and I love her when she's here. And I support her, and I'm loyal. I'm loyal to myself. So if I wasn't loyal to myself, I couldn't be loyal to her. So those are the inner lessons we learn as elders. Does that make any sense, Bob?
Ton of sense. Ton of sense. It's I love to hear just how it involves from your heart, and that's where it's all at. It's love is what makes it live.
This-
Uh,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna. Is there anything else you want to interchange with that? I was going to go ahead and explain some of the stuff that's going on with me for the making community and such things as that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go forward with that. Minnesota's they sort of have this friendly personality that's friendly, but you don't get to be friends. They say it takes at least a year, and it'll take 5 years before they'll invite you over to their house. You know, that's sort of the range of things there. But finally, I go have my favorite coffee shop, which I go to frequently, and I kind of break the ice with my sense of humor, because I can make people laugh pretty readily, and so it's been fun doing that. But over the last 6 weeks or so of doing that, it's opening up to where there's a lot of I raised the average age of that coffee shop quite a bit. But anyhow, but these people, a lot of them that are working there, it's like I'll start a conversation with one person that's inquiring about something, and the other people start listening in. You know, the people that are listening there, and the people that are in the seat next to you, because they sort of have a bar where you can drink the coffee. So it makes conducive talks of groups. And so it's coming to fruition. I hadn't approached it, but I want to introduce some drumming into that coffee shop. And that right now it's really is encouraging, because there's a lot of young people there. You know, when I say young, 25, 26, stuff like that. There's some of them getting up to their 40s. There's one that gets up into the 80s, but I won't mention his name. But anyhow, what I'm saying is that they're making inquiries, and they're starting to call me the wise one, And, I just joke with him. I said, all that means is I'm just an old geezer who's been around a long time. But, to me, I say, look, yes, I'd like to get together and talk on different stuffs. And they're real concerned about politics because these are the young people that are wanting to raise families or already have kids. And they're very worried about the society we're in. You know, for us, no matter how bad it gets, it's only get bad for about 3 more years or 4 more years, or, you know,
Yeah.
and so we have a different attitude. But that's happening where I can, because I know I've been fairly involved in politics and I have my own theories and I can interchange with people like that. And it's beginning to kind of come together, which really feels good uh, to me. And it's just fun to see these young people exploring and being scared with what's going on. And uh, you can see them organizing within their neighborhoods. It's like, last night they had a, trying to get together a protest against ICE and things like that, which I consider ICE probably the most dangerous of the aspect of the Trump thing because it's their brown shirts. Uh, but all of that mix is just going on. I don't know how it will play out, but I know I'm having a good time with it, and I can keep them laughing and learning and asking good questions. So that's all I can ask for. So I just want to celebrate that.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I had that. Uh, I was in a relationship. I was going through my pictures today. I was looking for my daughter because I sent him a gift for Christmas. I went through my Christmas list and how can I make this personal? I got 3 kids. I'm estranged from them, but I got to live long enough to see them come back. So I think as an elder, one day at a time, that's the AA way, is accept the things I cannot change, have the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between what I can change and what I can't change. And the wisdom comes from that second half of life that I was talking about. Is when you have enough. In other words, you're not seeking the same goals you did when you were young. Like when I was doing my men's work with Bly, Hillman, and Mead, I read a lot of books on the flying boy. And they say, who's the flying boy? That's that boy with ambition. And when you're young, say, I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going to be a... And some people actually become what they say they're going to be. So, but the ambition is the child inside. They want to, what's our territory? The animals do that. The wolves, they have territories. So do the hummingbirds. All nature. So, when I run into very hard times, I just remember that beautiful prayer that I saw in one of the saints of Ireland, or maybe it was Wales, it's somewhere over there. It's called Julian of Northrop. Julian of Northrop. And her mantra was, all is well and all will be well. And I remember some of the men I've sat with some men from India that were pretty amazing healers. And one of them was named Dadaji. There's a lot of Dadajis from India, but this one was called Eldest Brother. And I would used to go up in the West Hills and sit with him. And he could, you bring him a glass of water, and he would actually emit this fragrance from his fingertips that made this wonderful aroma to the water. And then you put that water on your third eye, and he says, do not worry. Worry makes you the doer. You are not the doer. That mantra just stuck in my head. It says, worry is the only thing I can turn over to spirit. That's the things I cannot change. Because worry is what's not real. That's a fleeing from your presence. We talk about this is a season to give presence. Well, I think the presence we give, or the presence that we create with our hands, are the greatest ones. So, although Bob did not create those drums with his hands, his gift is bringing the drum. He's my greatest salesman. He brings drumming wherever he goes.
Wherever I go.
He's got, so that's part of the wheel, the air, the fire, the earth, the water, the air, the fire, the earth, the water. We have to master each one of those.
Yeah.
That makes you a master.
I have 6 drums that I just keep on my bed. That which one wants to speaks up, and which one doesn't. It's just fine. You always find that they're always ready to do something. And the thing about it is that one of the real lessons of the drum is when you're using a meditative mode, like I'll just do it lying in bed and stuff like that. If you learn that your body's just as much a drum as they are, that there's really no difference. Our body's a drum. We got skin attached to bone as opposed to the hoop. But you can go to bed playing the collarbone. There's all kinds of ways of giving yourself a pattern and take yourself on a trip to wherever spirit wants to lead you. So there's a real connection there. I love them.
I had a friend of mine. I'd say he's a true friend of mine. He was in the penitentiary, but he was telling me he built the Phil Knight's parking space at the University of Oregon football stadium. And I think wow, he just gave, I don't know how much to the Republican Party. It's like, but I'm real interested in Phil Knight because he's just a person. He's my brother's age. He's 87. And how many billion do you need to be happy?
25 and a half.
Like, what's the purpose of having if you can't circulate it? That's
none.
It's like these people haven't entered elderhood.
Yeah.
So I say they get do-overs. So I used to have this thing that Dad hated Jews and niggers, so he probably came back a black man. So, and they say a lot of Native Americans were reborn as the people they hated or judged. So this is the beast and the beauty. Like I was looking at Ashley's altar that she built, and she had Frankie's foot mold in it, and I said, that toe's crooked. He says, well, it was only a little thing, and they don't have any bones in their toes, so they had to just be informed. Well, I'm going to tell you this story about this woman that came in the store today, and I couldn't hear her, I'd say. So I engaged her, and I was showing her how you pull the voice out of the drum. You don't beat a drum, you pull the voice out of the drum. And I was showing her that, and I said, you try it. And she was holding her breath and trying to do the same thing. I said, breathe. So she started breathing, and I say, I've noticed that in so many people, when they get scared, they quit breathing. So when we venture into new territory, this is called the unknown, or the mystery, the dream. In many cultures, they say the dream time is the real time. And there's actually 3 dreams. There's the night dream, the day dream, and the dream of us 3 on this Zoom class of the present. So when you can connect those 3 dreams in psychodrama, like I used to act out people's dreams. So it had these vivid dreams. Say, who wants to play the part of like this one guy had this, I was talking to him in the store, and he said, I had this dream, real vivid dream about I was looking for something, but every time I tried to get it, it would disappear. And so I said, well, let me play the part of the person that keeps disappearing. So your dream can be theater. So that's improv theater, is dreaming. But so I used to do act out theater, improv theater, with someone's dream, because they show us aspects of our psyche that's called the unknown, or Jung's descent into the unknown, going down. That's the ladder. So we not only go, as we go down, we go up. So as you go down and hit bottom in recovery, they say addiction is a one-way elevator, and it's only down. So you can stay sober a long time, but if you pick up that drink again, it keeps going down. So a lot of people don't get off the elevator. Some people get off of it real soon. But addiction is whatever you're addicted to, love, sex, work, all those addictions are based on the first half of life. Because addiction to intensity, addiction to what's not working, addiction to perfectionism, and addiction to the need to know. That someone with no faith won't take a leap of faith. That's the fool. The fool has to take the leap. So, and Mandy bought me a deck of cards, and it has me and her and Jasmine, and all Jasmine's little dolls, because we were going to Bear Creek, and I had a big gut on me, I noticed. So I was on my feed, and all my anger was in my jaw. One of the things that healed me from all my sleepless nights was this cranial sacral work came over and gave me a treatment. And after that, I could sleep. So, I just needed touch. I needed somebody to touch me. Without touch, we die. You take a baby that's not touched, so I like that, Frankie sleeps between the two of them, So that's beautiful to have the both and to really never take your partner for granted, to see them with new eyes each day. That's true living one day at a time. Saying, well, I did the best I could today. Tomorrow will take care of itself. So I don't plan menus, but I do some cooking. I cooked some good chicken soup. You had some of that last time. Mm-hmm. And I cook enough for about 2 months to get through the winter. I need soups and like Bernie Sanders. I love Bernie. He's a great guy. But I meet so many people in my store. That's my place to do the medicine. And that's when you're charisma. They call it charisma. And my stepmother said, "Patrick, you have charisma, and you have the light." That's the. She could see the like when I used to do shows, there was this Crillian photography, and they could do photographs that shows your auras. And I have one that I have all this green all around me. And they say, that's your heart. That's the heart. Green is the symbol of the heart. It's also the symbol of the green man. And the green man is the one that helps us. The Celt, they have a legend in England that there's the Oak King and the Holly King, and they do battle at Yule and the summer solstice. And on the summer solstice, the Oak King has ruled. Now he's defeated by the Holly King, and that's Donald Trump, the Holly King. So he says, this is the way it's going to be. This is the way it is. And you've got mistletoe and holly, and you've got frankincense and myrrh. You have all these symbolisms around, like the Jewish Kabbalah, the lighting of the candles. And each day, like on the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. That song. A partridge in a pear tree. And also the 12 days of Christmas prior to all these, the Holly King rules up into the 21st of the summer solstice, which the Christians put as the birth of Jesus and his resurrection, the birth of the holy. And all these icons. So I was reading today because I journal a lot. I get up in the morning and I write. I write my thoughts. I draw pictures. And I left too. So I do these symbols that with both hands, because I have journals where I just left. So if you mirror, you can read it as right side up. But if you're the other way, so I was going to write a book that goes this way. So just reading the book is healing for you, because you're so used to living in a right-hand world. This is righteousness, right on. So dream and do is the male. Give me a dream and I'm going to go do it. That's the flying boy. Says, when you're young, you got ambition. You want the best. You want to get to the top. So what are you going to do when you get to the top? Well, some people become philanthropists and circulate that back. They say, well, the only reason for having is to circulate it. My God. So I have drum artist Rose that been painting for me. I send her drums. She lives down in Grants Pass. I talked to her today and I says, she was going to paint a black jaguar because that's one of my power animals, the jaguar, which is the west in the Chicana. It's the descent. Part of the descent is the cat. You have to face the cat. But I showed her this picture of a jaguar. She says, I have that same image. And she says, she tried twice to paint that jaguar. And she says, I've had to erase everything twice. I can't paint that cat. So I said, are you a fire sign? She said, no, I'm a earth sign. She's a Virgo. Like my mother. So my opposite is Taurus, which is Aries. What is it? Water, fire, air, earth. That's the way it goes, isn't it? No. Water.
Starts with fire. It goes fire, earth.
Water, fire, earth, air. That's the way it is. Water, fire, earth, air. Mm-hmm. Water, fire, which is the black road. Earth, air is the red road. Mm-hmm. So the black road is, they say, when I make a drum, I start with the first hole is myself. So I start with me. That's your personal mesa. Like, what do you want to draw in for your personal mesa? That's the beginning. And so the next hole I make is to the north. That's tonight when I fall asleep. So earth to spirit. So that's called the red road. The black road is the east-west path. So on my drums that I have rose paint of it used to be the four-leaf clover, the heart. I've got it on my altars. But I had everything but the swirl. So I was reading today in the second half of life that there's symbology, music, and story are the elixir of the elder, of approaching elderhood. Symbology. So I notice Angelus Arian has another book called The Five Sacred Symbols, which are those ones that the circle, the square, the cross, the triangle, and see, what are they? It's a square, the cross, the circle, the triangle,
And the,
and this, the circle,
Spiral.
the spiral.
yeah.
Okay. So the spiral is about change, or when I make a drum, I do this lacing like this. I make that spiral. I go out, then I come back to the center. And then I cross over and start wrapping that handle here. That's the north. That's my body to spirit. And I come back and I go out to the east, which is this is what I think. And then I go to the west, which is this is how I feel. So between thinking and feeling is where elderhood is. It's being balanced between the two. Like without the spirit of north, which many call the Aluna, that's what the Kogi people in Mexico call it. The north is the Luna. That's what does Ashley want? What does Patrick want? What does our relationship want? That's the third question. So you can detach from my needs or your needs. Say, what does the relationship need? So that's what Mandy and I used to play, or when she's here, ping pong. But our object was to change hands on all the shots, either shot, so I'm hitting with my right and my left, or just play with our offsides. So if you have balance, you become ambidextrous, which is both and rather than either or. So if you're too left brain, you're too controlling. If you're too right brain, you have no structure. So what's the balance? Well, those 5 sacred symbols and how you arrange them would change maybe every day, because if we ain't changing them, we're attached, and if you're attached, you're suffering. So what's the elixir for suffering? The funny bone, the backbone, the hollow bone. What's the fourth bone? The wishbone. So what are you wishing for in your life? We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. That's so in the north is the annual battle on the summer solstice. And the green man wins the battle, the Oak King. And he'll rule to the summer solstice. And once again they'll do battle. And the Holly King will prevail. And the Holly King is all about the movement towards the darkness. It's going into your dark side, your shadow. That's what Jung says, the descent into, go down and see where this Lucifer lives. Set's brother, the fallen angels. Go down and find the bottom. That's a good place to build from. So one of the images that when I was in Machu Picchu, Peru, playing my flute, I dreamed being there, and then I invented a trip and took 15 people there. It didn't cost me a penny. And I got to buy a lot of product for the store, but it wasn't easy. But I did learn quite a bit, because we lived with the locals. We lived with the people rather than living like a tourist. So I've had these magical experiences and we all have. And that's our stories and how important they are as elders. And if your story ain't changing, you're stuck. So your story should always be changing. That's everything she touches changes, and she changes everything she touches. A lot of native songs around that, changing woman. And once you try to identify it, it goes away. It's just like if you pursue love, you'll never find it. It's never for there who pursue it. It's one to start loving themselves, and then that love comes to you. That's the charisma, or the light, that we emit. We do it through our stories. And Bob's got a gift, and he uses that gift, supports me. You know, I've got an attorney that's working for me, trying to do an end of life thing for me. So I can put Bear Creek in a 501c4 or C3. We're still trying to figure that out. Because the C4s are what they use for communities that use ayahuasca and some of these medicines that doctors are using here. And psilocybin, ketamine. So I'd like to open Bear Creek up as a place that I'm going to take care of that place. I'm not going to clear cut it. I'm not going to sell it. I can put it in a trust where it could go on. And I have a good buddy, Glenn, that makes bows and makes all kinds of beautiful regalia. And he came up yesterday and he spent the day with me. I showed him how to cut out 4 elk kits, the lacing, and he has a lot of good contacts, and I feel real good about. He calls me almost every day and says, "I just want to check on you and see how you're doing." And he's got a mother that's an alcoholic. He's got a brother-in-law that's an alcoholic. I say, well, Creator never gives you anything to do that conflicts with anything else that Creator gives you to do. So everything's connected with everything else. So, let's see, 7:48. I wanted to hear from Miss Ashley.
What do you want to hear?
Your experience of these circles. What you get out of it.
I think the thing that I see has helped me tune into the seasons and the rhythms of life and my own rhythms. And it's helped me find a little bit more stillness in each of these seasons, I think, because I'm always trying to have it be summer. You know, I want to live in the South.
Yeah.
I want to be there all the time.
Yeah.
And that's just not real. It's not reality.
That's what the snowbirds do.
Yeah, true. So I'm trying to become a snowbird. No, but each, I think appreciating each of the
Try.
appreciating all the gifts of each of the directions has been really good learning. So that's what I've been getting from these classes is slowing down to the speed of time and enjoying that.
Well, that's what my It's like one of the things I miss of going out. But I listen to a lot of. I've got this. I use TV to watch, find something I like and watch it. If I don't like it, I'll listen to music. But if I do learn, I like to learn new things. I think that's the silver gate. That's one of the first gate that she talks about going through is the silver gate. It says, do something that scares you every day. That's how you stay in the silver gate. Take a risk. And that's one of the gifts of Angela Sarian that gave me that. She'd say, she used to cross the Golden Gate Bridge, and there was this one person in there that was dancing. And the toll keeper, she says, well, my gosh, why are you dancing? She says, I'm having fun. And she says, the attitude of that person changed my whole perspective. Because wherever you are or whatever you're doing, you can let your essence shine. The story is, well, I'll do it tomorrow, so we procrastinate. So it's like staying present is going into the giving our presence. How do you present the fly in fly fishing? You know, you got to make that fly come down just as natural. And then that trout will come up and grab it like that. That's the beautiful, and that's the teachings of the water. That's the stream. But you go to a lake, and that teaches you something else. So we learn something from the fire, like my sister here is smart as a whip. She can do a lot, but she's learning to temper that down just a little bit. And, it's beautiful. And I'm having fun. My values have shifted. I'm glad my brother's thing is over. I keep praying, and I'll do that the next few days. And I just try to walk like I talk. Not try, but that's my intention. Is every day do those 5 steps of volition. Because that sits in the center between the thinking, the feeling, the praying, and the support that I get. How do I feel supported by that? How's it going to serve me today? Because today's all I have, or the present, the moment. Our point of power is always here. Let's be here now, Ram Dass and Eckhart Tolle and all these stories of your point of power has always been in the present. But how come we say, well, what about tomorrow? Well, what if? What if? So if we change the thinking of, it's called stinking thinking in recovery. It's not our drinking that gets us stinking, it's our stinking thinking that gets us drinking. That's what they say, because if you're putting out bad vibes, like more is better, that's called greed. Like how much is enough? One of Bob and I's great things was Lynn Twist. And,
Yeah, wonderful woman.
she was a teacher, but I knew some people that knew her. And everyone's got a dark side, but everyone's got a bright side too.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
That's just a shadow. So we used to do these little things when my brother and this was a dog, and we could
Yeah.
put it in front of the thing, quack, 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 or rabbit, and we'd work with the strings, make Jacob's ladder and crow's foot and double crow's foot. Because my mother had 2 boys, and she'd say, "You boys go outside and play, you're driving me crazy." So we'd go out and we'd play. The universe was our playground. We'd play hide and seek or whatever, free play, that's called the child play. It was like, so if your life is balanced, you're going to be playing a little bit and working a little bit. But the master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play and his leisure and his, because if you're balanced, you're doing what you love to do. That's not work.
I have one good story that sort of fits in with this is when I didn't go skiing very often just because Texas isn't exactly close to ski area, but I was taking lessons and the guy that was teaching me, he said, "Can you tell me this?" He says, "Oh, I see all these businessmen that work, 60, 70, 80 hours a week so they can come up here for a week or 2 weeks to ski." He says, "I get to ski every day." Yeah. So, I mean, that was just like whack. And I've always remembered that.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story.
That was just yeah, there's so much truth in that.
Well, we're out of time. So we promise to keep these things to an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
As we smudged, we didn't smudge, did we?
We did.
Well, how come that thing's here? Let's burn a little sage just to say thank you for the teachings of the North. And usually we'll have a summer or a winter solstice sweat on the 21st. But I'm teaching preparation for that because I still see it happening. But this timing is not. I have to start with the structure, getting people committed to their own self, to their own truth. And that's when you're playing improv, it's fun. It can be. And the more you find yourself singing, you might find that you're happy. And it's a music, story, and symbols. That's what I was reading this morning in my journal. I was writing that too. I was writing about the Chicana and about how I make a drum. 16 holes, a 7-sided drum. I have a 7-sided drum over there. So there's many facets to life. Life's like a big crystal. It's beautiful. And so we're going to stop the recording and wish you all well, and we'll see you for the teachings of the East class that will start in January sometime.
Of 2026.
When?
Of 2026.
26. Now that's when my driver's license expires. I have to do something about that.
Y'all guys are getting old.
I know, hell.
Hey.
Okay.
Okay.
We love you.
It's great.
We don't have to, we're just stopping the recording.